Hi, everybody. It's Gail from You Are the Operant Power, and I'm with Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Gail. Hi, everyone.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. So for this chat, we're going to talk about it's none of your business, which has been coming to my mind a lot lately as I'm reading things on Twitter and Facebook, and a comment starts to come up, and then I'm like, it's none of my business. It's really none of my business. Now, for the sort of the automatic reaction would be, well, let's give an example. The example I was using when Jane and I were chatting before was she has a white elastic thing in her hair. And so if I she like, what are you doing with that white thing in your hair? Oh my God. The truth is, it's none of my business. And if it is my business, it has nothing to do with her. It's all about me. Okay, if I'm making it my business, what is it about it that I'm making my business? And then that's my opportunity to see what judgment I'm making so I can forgive and replace with whatever I prefer. So, and I mean, in this case, it's not, I don't care what color you wear. And really, it's none of my business where you wear your hair. And it doesn't bother me, just to be clear.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say too, is that we have a lot of concern about other people's business right now.
Well, especially with all of the stuff going on now, I'm worried about whether or not you do this because you might affect me.
Yes.
And that's where we get caught up, because the effect you're reflecting back, I'm reflecting back to you, you're reflecting back to me what our beliefs are. So let's say, well, I don't want to use the obvious one because I think they do things on YouTube, but we all know what that is.
Yeah.
Well,
let's just say you're okay. Let's frame it this way.
Okay.
If I walk up to you and I say, "Are you healthy?" and your response to me would be
this.
Would be none of your business.
Well,
because I've thought about saying that to people when they ask me questions about my health. My gut reaction is, it's none of your business. Like, why do you care?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you do care,
say that to them, to say that to them is it would trigger.
Right.
And create something. So, I mean, I think that's the place. See, for me, I would laugh because I just think it's so funny. And then I would probably change the subject. Like,
and it's funny that, okay, but think about it this way too. We've spent a lifetime saying to people, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's not being nosy. That's just concern when you say that.
But the funny part about that
you're asking if somebody has the thing that other people or some people think makes them more healthy. When you're talking about that, they're doing that from fear. That doesn't mean, because they're not going to say, are you healthy? They're going to say, did you get the jab?
Yeah.
So they've got their story going on. And if you have this, then yes. If you have that, then no.
Yeah.
So that stuff I deal with like ahead of time. Like, to me, it's not a big deal, yes or no. It's my decision to make. It's nobody else's business. And I don't get triggered if they ask me or if they don't. And I'd hardly get asked. I never run into situations. I did that one day at the dog park months ago.
Yeah.
And I kind of laughed at it and, stepped back as if I was like this, right? And he just laughed about it. So it wasn't a big deal to him. It was before we were talking. Like, I knew that it was an issue for him. And then when I said I didn't have it, he was kind of like, oh, like shocked that anybody wouldn't get it. So it's just a matter of understanding. But I wouldn't even get into that with people because I fix my own thinking, like it's my business. If I get it or if I don't get it, there's no good or bad about it. It's all love. You
Well, you could almost say
know,
like, yeah, you could almost say too, like if someone's asking you that, then you immediately know that there's a fear. Like,
you. They're reflecting back to you.
yes, that you have
Reflection
fear.
of you. Yes.
So your response to it should be
Well,
that
the reaction to it is going to tell you about you. It doesn't,
it doesn't, right.
they're just showing you about you. What's your reaction? None of your fucking business.
What about nicely? It's none of your business.
Say,
None
well,
of your business.
you end up in that situation. I don't. Like, I honestly
Right.
never have anybody asking me.
Yeah, I don't really.
I would probably say, like, well, I joke and like, well, do you want to know if I have an STD? Want to know that too?
Yeah,
Just to show the ridiculous.
exactly.
But I don't, like I said, I don't run into that much. But I mean, I would probably laugh if they asked and change the subject. Because in my mind, I know like it's irrelevant. It's there's a judgment coming. That's my judgment. I forgive. Everybody's healthy and living free
Mm,
and come from that place. And you don't run into it. It's counterintuitive that when you have no resistance to it. I don't care if I get it or if I don't get it. At
yeah,
the moment, I'm not making a decision
yeah,
on it. So there's no resistance to whatever, has no power over me.
right.
So it's counterintuitive because then you don't have it thrown back in your face
That's right.
because there's nothing to reflect back to you to tell you about yourself.
So that would apply to many different things. Like,
Well, anything that we think that we have a tendency to want to know stuff or want to say stuff about everything we read, even papers, all the stuff in the papers, and this is going on here and that's going on there. It's really none of your business. All it is telling you that you believe this and hold this in your consciousness. So use it for what it's worth.
well, and it's kind of interesting.
Acting to it.
Right. And it's also interesting because in the natural world of living, like let's just say we didn't have a way to get in, like back when we were a lot younger, we didn't have as much access to information, and we went about our lives in blissful ignorance, I guess, of like now
if you're talking about when we're young, you have parents, you have teachers,
yeah,
you have like aunts and
but I mean, like as far as
you how things are.
right, but as far as telling you, but as far as telling you how things are in other countries, like politically, like there's so much that you can tap into. So if you're sitting tapping into all that, I feel like you need to take like a breather from that, like just take a break from it sometimes if you feel it. And if you're
well, there's no need for protection. We don't need to protect our we need to be aware of what is our reaction to that.
Yes.
Is it like government?
Yeah.
Then that's telling you what you're holding in your consciousness.
Yes.
Is that what you want your experience to be?
Right.
So then you forgive and replace it with whatever. So there's no need for protection or boundaries. I mean, I don't think you want to be aware that your mind is very sensitive.
Yes.
Information that you hear. And so when you hear things that are triggering to you, that's a clue for you. Well, that's in your consciousness. So is that something that works for you now or no? If not, forgive. And what do you want? What do you prefer? Because I don't think we want to create more fear when we're getting rid of fear.
Right.
So
Right.
I think you want to be aware, though, that especially when you're once you've started this road, that you're held to a higher standard and that things will show up a lot quicker. So it's almost, when I say a higher standard, it's like you're more sensitive. You know, you're any sort of veils or curtains
Judgments.
in that were standing in the way. It's not that they didn't allow your imagination to create, but the timing could have been longer than it is as you're walking on this path.
Okay, now that kind of does tie into boundaries. What did you say earlier about boundaries?
There's boundaries come from a place of lack. You feel a need for protection.
Right,
You can't cross over my boundary.
right,
We don't need protection. If we truly understand and accept that we're the creator of our reality, we're only protecting from ourselves or those
right,
we're holding in our consciousness.
right.
That there's no movement forward with that. When you know, I'm not talking to people anymore, I can't stand people. No, 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 no. You know, we're missing out on learning about ourselves.
Right.
Now, I mean, that's not to say that you have to talk to people. Again, it's counterintuitive, right?
Right, right.
You have no resistance, then you get what you desire.
Well, it's like you said, you can say to yourself, I'm not talking to anyone today, but you don't attach any, like, it's not because I don't, like, it's not for any reason. It's just I'm not talking to anyone today, period.
Well, why would that even come up though? Like for something like that, there's got to be a trigger that I don't want to talk to anybody today.
Maybe you're just trying to be quiet, like you just want silence and you just
Okay,
want
so then your desire is, I'm having a quiet day. It has nothing to do with other people. You know,
right,
that's what you don't want,
right.
is to talk to people. What you want is a peaceful day, a quiet day, whatever.
So boundaries create what you don't want.
Right. They give life to what you don't want, because you have to identify what you don't want to create the boundary.
And your time should be spent on what you do want, paying attention to what you do want.
Well,
So
accepting responsibility for what is reflected back to you. If it's not what you prefer, forgive, and then focus on what you prefer. Sounds easy, I know.
well,
Well, not so easy.
well, and then
Work in progress, right?
yes, because there's a, well, for me, there was an idea at least that I had to protect myself. And I think that came
What
from
does that,
not,
just what you're saying, what does that tell you about yourself?
well, it told,
Protect yourself.
right. Well,
We
it told,
get the feeling that that makes us powerful, that we can protect ourselves, but we're not really protecting ourselves. If we don't claim it, then we're not powerful.
right.
It's really, and I get this because I have to protect myself, is focusing on what you don't want. Which somebody coming after you or implies that you have a lot in your life that needs to be protected from. Okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say too that the idea that you have to protect yourself is self-doubt, rather than there's something out there that's going to come to harm you. Because we all know, if it really comes to, like, I've thought about this quite a bit psychologically, because if you think about it, what circumstance are you going to be in your daily life, most people, that you need to protect yourself? Not, I've never had to protect myself. I go out every day. I go to the grocery store. I go here, I go there. If someone approaches me that, you know, says something, I'm able to realize that that's, like you said, that's just something I'm like, I've just never it's a weird thing to think that you have to protect yourself, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm. Well, and that's what the media and government,
Yeah.
everything relies on, the idea that you feel like you're powerless and
Yeah.
have no protection and react accordingly. I mean, that's how you're controlled, right? Because if you focus on, I need to I need to protect, you're creating more situations
Yes.
need for protection from.
Yes.
And so when you think about all that's going on now, I mean, there's hundreds of stories out there that are not conducive to living, a peaceful, happy, free life.
Right.
You can buy into them and feel you need to protect from them and do it through Caesar's rule, through the law, through, when I say the law, I mean Caesar's law, the legal route, or, I mean, who knows what, protest, whatever, all of those things. But that's not focused on what you want. That's focused on protecting what you want. But the focus is on protection, not what you want. It implies actually what you're protecting is that you don't have it.
Yes.
You think of like activists and stuff, protesting for freedom or whatever. The fact that you're protesting implies that you don't have freedom.
Yes.
And so more situations are created where you will feel like you don't have freedom.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are mentally feeling free, then what are you going to get? You're
More.
situations where like nobody talks to me about the jab.
Yeah.
That's a freedom I have.
Yeah.
The people are complaining they don't have. I got canned from my job. I go here and they ask me, I go there and they ask me. It's like, I don't have those issues.
Yeah.
I don't focus on that being an issue. I focus on freedom.
Yeah.
And so I'm free from that.
Yeah. Free from self-doubt, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Well, it's just more claiming my power.
Mm-hmm.
Imagination works, then I'm going to use it. And it doesn't matter. First of all, it's none of my business what other people are doing. Unless, they're reflecting something back to me about me that is helpful for me to know. Then it's business. But it still has nothing to do with them because they can only respond to me, reflect back to me what I'm holding in my consciousness.
Yeah, and I think that's
help themselves. They have no choice.
Yeah. And that's the place of I would say reflective control of the subconscious dominates what you feel. That's what that Neville. So if you're so when you're switching the narrative, you're switching the belief that you have no control to you are the operant power in all on like I told you before, like there's these ideas that, oh, well, you can't control everything, and
well, that's true,
which is true, but you can control what you believe and what you feel, and
you can only control your reactions.
Yes.
And what you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the result of that is shown to you in your outer world.
Right.
So, and even I think it's really important that even though there's all this chaos going on out there, when you change the within, that chaos may be going out there still for other people, but it's not for you. So that's something that I've noticed along the way. And I think we've lost Jane. Anyways.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Saying before you left that, I forget now. I'm going to edit this. Damn it.
Well, and I guess just to finish off, go back to the original statement, it's none of your business, is that your business is ultimately always being reflected back to you. So the business
And it
of,
has nothing to do, the other person has
right,
no choice but
yes,
respond to you
yes.
the way that
Which is,
they respond.
which is a great comfort in some ways, because then you don't need to control that. You need to look at what aspect of that you have forgotten to revise, forgive, and just quickly
What do you
go back.
prefer?
Yeah, what do you prefer? So that's a lot more powerful place to be than to be waiting to fix the outside, world.
There's
Like
no power out there.
there's, yeah,
You see, there's a lot of people that are sort of waking up to like, life's got to be different. There's got to be more to life than this, that are not quite there for the subjective view, have not been
yes.
to it, or not interested, or whatever the case may
Well,
be.
it's a lot to take responsibility for, especially someone like me that spent a lifetime judging. There's
Well,
like
we all
right.
have been.
So
It's
when
just- it's all part of the pattern.
so when that comes
When
back,
they get there, it's none of my
yeah,
business when that happens for them.
yes,
I can do is, when I see them going on, is to lift them.
yeah,
I forgive them for showing me that. Yes, I used to think that way too, because I did. Like, there's not anybody I'm seeing that isn't showing me what I used to think.
yeah,
You just forgive them. It's like, no, everybody's free, man.
yeah,
Life's great. Life's good.
yeah,
Abundant. It's
yeah.
free. And none of that stuff is my business.
Yeah.
Okay, I think anything else before
Okay.
we go?
I wrote a couple things down.
Oh, maybe we can do separate videos for them.
No, I think we covered it all.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. Feel free to leave a comment, like, share, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.